Do you struggle with spelling at your house? Have you struggled finding a curriculum that would truly help your homeschool kids learn to spell better? I'm here to help you today. I'm going to take you back in time to the 1990s. I'm going to show you something that I used in my classroom back when I was a teacher and that I have used in my homeschool for nearly 20 years. Hi, I'm Brenda from the Homeschool Files. I'm glad you joined me. Today we're talking about spelling, and that's for anyone who needs spelling in your homeschool, from elementary into early middle school. And if you have an older child who still struggles, they absolutely can use this as well. So I'm going to show you some of the things that you are going to need. First, I want to tell you that in the 1990s, the way we did spelling was we sent spelling homework home every night. They had a big old packet. They had to put them in alphabetical order, rearrange them, unscramble them, write them 5 times each, write them into sentences, all kinds of things. And at the end of the week, their spelling test was really not much different than the pre-test they had taken on Monday. It was just memorization, pass the test, and move on. No one was really learning to spell any better from that. I kept the same kids from 3rd grade through 4th grade one year, and I tested them at the beginning of 3rd and the end of 4th. Not much improvement at all. And it was then that I began my quest to find what truly helped kids learn to spell, because the spelling curriculum we were using wasn't even a curriculum. The spelling method we were using wasn't it. That old test on Friday just did nothing for most kids. So I started looking around, and this is what I found when I was a 1st grade teacher, but I have used it all the way through early middle school with all of my kids, and it is meant for that. All right, so first I'm going to show you what you need. There is a book, I've got a lot of stuff on my desk, called Making Words by Patricia M. Cunningham and Dorothy P. Hall. And the sequel of it is Making Big Words. This one says it's for 1st through 3rd, and this one says 4th through 6th. But I don't care what books say on the cover. In fact, if your child is not on grade level for that, I would just take a Sharpie and mark that out, or just cut the cover, put some tape over it. I don't like kids feeling badly that they're doing something that is less than the grade they're in. That's not what we worry about. We use what they need. I don't care what the book says. So just cover that part up and use the one that you need. But the Making Big Words truly does get into bigger words. It is the harder of the 2 books. Okay, so you need that book. You're going to need some magnetic letters. I have a set from Resources for Reading, and the cover too. The little container. I can put that in the description. But I also have all of this in the description, and they are Amazon links of what I would grab if I was doing this today. I need to let you know that they are Amazon associate links, so I would earn a small commission if anyone happened to click on them and purchase something. Just needed to let you know that. You will also need something magnetic. I went and got this lovely cookie sheet from the dollar store just for you. Nothing is too good for you. Why did I do that? Because my kids used these lovely burner covers from probably the dollar store that I bought probably 20 years ago, and they're just so dented and awful looking. My poor 3rd child never used anything except this, but they worked out really well. I gave the biggest one to the older daughter and the smaller one to the younger daughter because her words were smaller, and this is what my kids used, but I thought I can do better better than that for the video. So here you go. All right, so that's what you're going to need, and you might also need some index cards. When I say that this is low prep, I mean it. Literally, you need to open the book and pick which word you want to do. There's tons of words in here, and they're in alphabetical order. I really don't even know how many. Lots. And you're going to choose the word that you want to do that day. Some of the lessons are very long and have a lot of words to spell. Some of them are shorter and don't have as many words, so you pick what you have time for. You might also choose based on what your kids already know. You'll be like, hey, this has EE in it, and she just recently learned that EE says E, so we'll do this lesson and she'll feel really smart. Or you might choose a lesson based on something that they need to learn. It doesn't really matter. They all have good learning in them. And so we're going to just choose that, and then you might need to write a few of the words on an index card. That part is optional, but that's all you need to do. That is the prep, okay? So now I've gotten the letters out, and I've given them to the child in alphabetical order. This is the fun part. The word that we're making, the big word that we're making, is asleep. But they don't know that. That is a secret. And that is what's fun about this curriculum, is that you don't tell them what the big word is. And the whole time you're doing the lesson, you're peeking in the book to tell them the next word, and they don't get to see what you're looking at. They're trying to guess the big word by the end of the lesson. I don't tell them yes or no to their guesses until we get to the end, and I say, okay, have you figured out the big word? And they tell me, yes, I think it's blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times they do get it. And then, of course, you can act very upset and say, man, I really thought I had chosen a hard enough one. Oh, don't worry. I'll get you tomorrow. I'm going to pick such a hard one. And there's a lot of laughter. And they do really figure it out most days. Sometimes mom will win. Sometimes you stump them. So that's okay too. All right. I want to talk about the beauty of this program before I go through a lesson with you really quickly. And it's because we are taking writing away. Why does that matter? Look, if your kid is struggling to write, struggling to hold the pencil, struggling to remember, how do I make that letter? Which letter makes that sound? All of that is taking up so much of their brain, trying to hold the pencil, write neatly, remember which way the B goes. All of these things they're having to remember. We're taking that away. We're not worrying about writing because there is no writing in this spelling lesson. That's why we're using the magnetic letters, because we're going to just rearrange the letters to spell our words. We're not going to worry about all that other stuff. This is not a writing lesson. It's not a handwriting lesson. You can incorporate that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But if your kid struggles to write, let's just take that away. We want to just focus on the spelling. I also want to say that spelling and reading are not separate. They really can't be separated. I mean, one is input and one is output. You write, you're outputting. You read, you're inputting. But they really can't be separated. So they're learning some reading skills with the spelling as well. And when they write, they'll be able to use these skills as well. It kind of goes across all those things. All right. So here's what we do. We start out with the letters, and you give the kids the first words. They start small and they get bigger. So we're going to give them a lot of hints. This is a very supportive spelling curriculum, all right? So you're going to say, I need you to spell a 2-letter word for me. The 2-letter word is as. Go ahead and spell that. And so they just pull these down and spell. Great job. We start off easy. Everyone is successful. And then it gets a little harder as we go, but it's very gradual. All right, now we're going to say, I need you to add 1 letter to make the word asp. Okay, there. You did it. Good job. Do you know what an asp is? Let me show you a picture. Never touch those. All right, we'll have a little lesson there. A little vocabulary. All right, now, after the word asp, I see a slant. It's a backslash, I guess. And that means that they just need to rearrange. That's the little mark that they're giving the teacher, you, so you'll know to tell them. Can you rearrange the letters in this word to make sap? Okay, they don't have to get any of these. All right, there. Good job. Sap. You did it. Good job. Can you rearrange those letters again to make the word spa? All right, they're just having to rearrange. There's no writing. There's no worrying about it. There we go. Spa. Great job. All right, new word, clear the board. All right, they're just going to shove those up. Okay, and what happened when I shoved those up is that the P turned into a D, but that's going to be a good lesson later because they're going to look and say, I don't have what I need. And you can be like, yeah, you do. Let's look at that. All right, so the next word is see, like I see you. This is a homophone, so you're going to need to give them the definition. I see what you're doing. Okay, they're going to do that. No, it's a 3-letter word. Oh, okay. Great job. You spelled sea. Can you make the other kind of sea, like the ocean? Can you make that kind of sea? It's also 3 letters. Great. E-A. That's right. S-E-A. E-A can say E. You did it. Good job. Now, can you change 1 letter to make the word pea, like a green pea that we eat at dinner? I don't have a P. Yes, you do. Can you find it? Oh, here it is. Yes, good job. Pea, like a green pea. Very good. We don't spell the other kind of pea. It's not in the lesson. If you did that in the classroom, you would lose them all. But in homeschool, we can spell it. We can laugh. It's fine. Go right ahead. All right. The next word, can you add a letter and make the word peal, like a peal of laughter or a peal from a bell? All right. So we're just going to keep going through the lesson and spell all of the words. And they end up spelling the word sleep at one point. And all that's left on the board is that. And at this point, they may figure out that the big word is asleep. But there's a couple more words to spell first, so they may not. And at the end, you can say, well, you were really close when you had sleep. And then they might get it that it's asleep, and you can congratulate them for getting the big word. If they didn't get it, you just tell it to them and say, don't worry, you'll get it tomorrow, I bet. So that's it. That's the spelling lesson. It's very powerful. There's a lot of moving around. There's no writing to worry about. The letter confusion of how to write them, nope, we don't have that. And another thing that happens is if they have the f sound, the F sound, okay, and then they look at their board and they're like, there's no F. I don't have an F. Okay, well, can you think of something else that can sound like F? And then they might remember, oh, I have a PH. Yep, you do. You can use that. So we've narrowed down their choices by giving them the correct letters for the word. And so when they go and look for it, they'll think, oh, it must not be an F. It must be this other thing. So we've eliminated them spelling the word wrong purely because they don't have all the letters at their disposal. We've narrowed down their choices already. So that's really a good thing. It's a very supportive spelling program. Can you see that? We're telling them 2 letters, 3 letters, 4 letters. And we're telling them just use the letters I've given you. And we're telling them all of these hints, just rearrange them or just add a letter or just subtract a letter. So there's a lot of support in this, and that's really, really cool. The little second part of the lesson, I did do sometimes, but not always. It depends on how much time you have. And that is when you've written the words on cards and you just scatter these on the table and you're going to sort for them. So say, I'm going to want you to sort for EA. Can you please find all the words that have EA in it? And they're just going to pull out those EA words. And we're going to talk about EA saying E in these words, C, P, peel. We can talk about rhyming words, and we can talk about homophones, and we can do all of that. It's at the bottom of the lesson. And then you can extend it a little bit by saying, okay, if you can write peel, I bet you can write squeal. Can you do that? Here's how many letters it has. See if you can do that. And you can have them write that on the board or on paper or whatever. How about if you can make the word pale, then maybe you can make the word whale. Can you spell that? And so we're showing them that since you learned this one thing, there's more that you can learn too. And the easy words that you made, like see, you can ask them right away, can you think of anything that rhymes with that? And y'all can think about rhyming words and go ahead and pull some other letters out and let them make those rhyming words. Because if you know how to spell one word, then now you know how to spell a lot of words. And that's really powerful, and it makes them feel like they're a very good speller, and they are becoming a very good speller. That is it. It's such a simple system. I absolutely love it. Now, there are a couple of things you can do to extend it. After they've written it, if you want them to write their words for handwriting practice, this is a great thing to do. Not to memorize. We're not doing it like the old write it 5 times each or 10 times each. Just let's take our spelling words and practice our beautiful handwriting with them, whether that's print or cursive. Okay, and you can have them do that. You can also you can make your own on special days, like, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. So you can take the word leprechaun, if it's not already in here, and you can all you got to do is just take the letters and figure out how many words can we spell from leprechaun, and you can just kind of make your own lesson, but they might actually have it in here. If you don't have magnetic letters, in the back of the book, they have cards that you can copy front to back. They are capital on one side and lowercase on the other, and you can cut those out, you can laminate them, and you can just use those cards on top of the table. That will work just fine. Making big words is pretty much the exact same kind of lesson, except the words are much, much bigger, and so it's more challenging for kids that are ready for that. And in the back, their letter strips. They're much, much smaller to work with, and that's why I just continued always to use the magnetic letters. I think moving things around is a nice break in the day when their other subjects require a lot of writing. We want to take that away. Another thing that you can do is add on to this. I would probably do this program 3 or 4 days a week, and then on the 4th or 5th day, I would do some other spelling things. Some suggestions are bananagrams, fun game if you've never played it, and Hangman. I also have Amazon links for these. Hangman is completely magnetic, and you can take it on the road with you. It's really fun. And also Scrabble Junior and Scrabble. Those are the really fun ways to practice those spelling words that they've done during the week. And you can just kind of have game day on the last day of the week. So that's just another idea. All right. If you have any questions about this, I would be happy to answer them. I absolutely love teaching spelling with this. I don't teach spelling anymore. My daughter is in 8th grade and she's a good speller. So I guess the program worked okay. I don't have to teach spelling anymore, but if I ever had to give advice to somebody, this is the one I would pick to tell you about. And that's why I wanted to share it today. I'll put my email in the description if you have any further questions, and I hope you're having a great week.